Hello guys, welcome to this new tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to get round edges on smaller cells like this one, for example, cells 4 with a higher scale. So when we use the original edge detect, which comes with Substance Designer, for example, I decrease the edge roundness and you can see all these cells got some edges. So when I increase the edge roundness, it turns completely black and makes all the cells here fade. So I just need to reduce it, or I need to copy this, make it duplicate, and make, for example, 107 and run edge detect. Give it a little bit of roundness like this. And also it doesn't work. So the reason here, you can make this 50 and give some edge roundness here and use the safe transform grayscale and tile it, but it doesn't work. It blurs most of the information, so we don't need to use this technique. So what I did here is I deleted the edge detect node, which comes with Substance Designer. I created this version. All right, so let's test it out. I'm gonna increase this again, orchids with a greater scale. So I got a fail mode here that I created and a search position slider here, you can see. So when we use the traditional way, increase the edge roundness and it's completely gone. So if you need to have some edge roundness even in smaller cells, you just need to enable the fail mode like this, and you need to increase the search position like this. Okay, I've got an issue here. Make sure the edge roundness and the edge width are 0 and increase the search position, and you can see some of the roundness here. So the aliasing here and these sharp steps are caused by the resolution, so it doesn't matter later when you run some effects like warping or blurring or bevel or anything, or you just need to increase the output size to 4K, and you can see that some of it is completely gone. It's like reduced, and you can play around with the search position here to get some roundness. Don't mess with these because you will mess up all the thing here. And you can see these little dots here, like this one and this one. These guys, just to get rid of them, you can use the float fill, then float fill to bounding box size like this. We can see that most of the information is lost. So to fix the histogram, directly run it on auto levels, and this gives the bigger cells a higher value, like a brighter one, and the smaller cells gives them so much dark values. So I'm gonna use histogram scan and increase the contrast and select everything except for the smaller cells, you can see here like this, and you can get rid of these gaps here by running this into a distance. This is the mask input and another float fill to random grayscale, and you can call that done. So you can also run an edge detect with the same node here, and you can get some clean roundness in the edges, which can be helpful in some kind of patterns or like gravel creation or pebbles or anything, which is very similar. So let's dive in inside the edge detect. I did nothing here and nothing crazy. No pixel processor or value processor nodes or FX map, some weird shit. I just used the traditional one, open reference. I did copy all of these into a single node like this, the one you see here. And let's open the reference. So I did expose some parameters here, the edge width, which is here. You can see that it subtracts a float and maxes it with a 0. So we're gonna change nothing and leave these values as they are. I just add a fail mode, which is a boolean for a switch like this, to switch between the old method and the new one. So this is the fail mode that I did create. So I'm gonna use cells 4 here just to explain how that works. Hold shift and drag it here on cells 4, and you can see that it is detecting some edges. The resolution is too low. I'm gonna increase that a bit like this. All right, we've got some edges, and you can see the magic here. I did invert this and run it into bevel. You can see the distance here. So use a smaller value like this, so you can get some kind of Voronoi shapes like this. You can see these roundness is affected also by the smoothing. The more you smooth, the more you get some roundness like this. Make sure it has 16 bits or above. We can use the 32 bits like I'm using it here, so you can get very accurate results. And you can see these blurred areas. They help a lot in getting some kind of good values. Alright, this goes because I did increase the smoothing. Okay, to something like this. Auto levels to fix the histogram. You can see here when we use levels. The reason why we use auto levels is you can see all this information here is lost. You can use this directly or use auto levels node. It's the same and it's up to you. And I did use the levels here again just to make it so much like a bit tighter by increasing the decreasing the levels in mid. You can see here like this, it's so much blurred, and just 0.45 is enough. And here in the distance you can combine these to get only an edge detect like this, I mean gaps and this mask, and you can use only source. I prefer to use only source because we get some more information. And auto levels again, in case of you change some stuff here or change some stuff in the bevel, you could always use an auto levels after a distance. You may lose some information here in the black values especially, or the gray values, so you need to use the auto levels, because I did some experiments before and noticed that sometimes it lost some information. So the auto levels, you must do it here before the curve. So the curve is just for fixing the histogram and getting some like so much roundness. And the histogram scan, which you can see here, the search position is the same value that I exposed here. So you can play around with like this, increase the contrast, and you can see here you can get round edges. So let's try it here. Right. So the reason why I did use the curve is some edges are too much sharp, so the curve helps a lot. Just need to play around with the position like this, and you can get all the edges round like this. Even if I increase this to crazy value like this and go here, you can see these artifacts here and weird stuff. That's because of these parameters. I told you that you need to make them 0 like this, and you can get some roundness. And okay, just play around with the position and contrast, and you can get some weird values like this. It works like a charm, you know. It's not perfect. You can use a pixel processor and take each one of these cells separately and, you know, run an edge detect on each one and resample them, each one on its original position. It takes a bit of time and effort and a lot of nodes to create that inside pixel processor, but it does the job perfectly. So that's it. You can use it on many different stuff. And that's all for this tutorial. I'll see you next time in other stuff. When I get an idea or something useful, I will share it with you. Have a great day.